So let's talk about the last 2 episodes of NCIS Season 9. So the next new episode is Up in Smoke, and it airs on May 8th, and we have the promo link in the description if you want to check it out. It looks really awesome. If you want to check out the press release and promo photos, link over here. Next up, we have the press release and the promo photos for the finale titled Till Death Do Us Part. And the press release says, terrorism threatens to shake the foundations of the Navy and NCIS when the team continues to be eluded by the newest member of the NCIS Most Wanted Wall. Meanwhile, Jimmy Palmer's destination wedding is impacted by the case. So Jamie Lee Curtis and Scott Wolf are back for this episode, along with Harper Deering and Brina, of course, because her wedding's in this episode. Although her father is not on the cast list, so I don't know what that says as far as the wedding. Maybe they couldn't get the actor back? I don't know. Moving on from TV Line, we learned a little bit about the Bachelor Party. I have to say it was a challenge, series boss Gary Glassberg admits. But thanks to a script by Steve Binder, I think we came up with a really interesting way of combining the ticking clock of our terrorist storyline with Jimmy's upcoming plans, as only NCIS can do. In other news, according to Deadline.com, actor David McCallum, who of course plays Ducky, has signed on for the next 2 seasons. Meanwhile, Michael Weatherly, Polly Brett, and Sean Murray remain unsigned for next year. But don't freak out, because it's not uncommon for these things to take some time. There's lots of negotiations and meetings with lawyers, possibly, so it might be a few months before we know for sure. On the other hand, I know I'm not above panic. Sean Murray left this ominous tweet, which kind of makes me worry. And then there's also the fact that there's another probie waiting in line, aka Dornigat. But, you know, he could die in Up in Smoke, you never know. We've also got some spoilers from Entertainment Weekly about the season finale in the form of a short interview with Gary Glassberg. We learned that they shot one of their famous red page scenes, which even the crew wasn't allowed to see, and they filmed it right at the end, and it's very, very secret. And Gary Glassberg said very few people were aware of what was going to happen, and I think it took a lot of people by surprise. And we also know that Gary Glassberg said that the finale is going to end with a genuine cliffhanger. Personally, I'm hoping for something epic, like Alia level epic. Like, I know for one, I was like in the fetal position, like crying after that episode. So I'm hoping something like that, just something that's really gonna play with my emotions and make me cry. I mean, you know, what else do I live for? The interviewer also goes on to point out that Polly Brett recently tweeted a picture of herself with her stunt double and comments on how, you know, that's kind of interesting. Why does Abby need a stunt double? And in response, Gary Glassberg says not to miss the last 2 minutes of the finale. So could the cliffhanger possibly involve Abby? Maybe. There were also some more spoilers from Gary Glassberg via Chris William about the probable big bad of the season, Harper Deering. There's a really interesting, complex, psychological backstory to what we've come up with for him, what drives him. His motivation turns out to be something very near and dear to his heart, and I'm going to hold back from you because it's a nice reveal. I'm going to take a shot in the dark here and say it has something to do with his son. Like the Navy blew up his son, or he thinks the Navy blew up his son. Because back a few weeks or months ago, TV Guide posted, an article about how Richard Striff was cast as Harper Deering and about his character blurb, which mentions he is haunted by the loss of his son who died in a terrorist bombing some years ago. So son dies in an explosion, he's now blowing up Navy ships. I don't know, maybe there's a connection there. Okay, time to make a wild theory and see how far off I am when the finale airs. So, we meet Samantha Ryan's son in the finale. So Ryan herself says that her son's details are like classified, so she's like really freaked out when Gibbs shows up at the kid's school. So like, what if their sons are like one and the same, and like he didn't really die in an explosion, and like she just like faked his death to get the kid away from him because like Harper Deering was like, crazy and like cutting up dolls in the basement or something? I don't know. I also think as far as the cliffhanger, I really hope they put Tony, Abby, or McGee in peril and then don't tell us if their contract gets renewed. I think that would be really cool because I think that's been done before. I don't know if it was on like this show or another show where like they just kept it quiet whether or not a character's contract was back and like left them hanging in the balance over the summer. I think that would be really, really exciting. So I hope that they put Tony McGee or Abby in peril. I don't know. I don't want any of them to die. Don't jump all over me. I hope everybody lives and is perfectly happy. But I think it'd be really interesting if they put one of them in peril for the cliffhanger and, let us freak out over the summer and don't tell us if their contract got renewed. Because that would just suck if they put like McGee in peril and then told us in like July that his contract's been renewed. Like that would just be like such a letdown because you want to find out in the season premiere and experience it. If you just find out their contract's renewed, then it's like, oh, I guess they're okay then. So anyway, if you've got any wild theories concerning all of these spoilers, leave them in the comments section below so you can say that you called it come May 17th. This doesn't have to be refrigerated, right?